Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
What just happened?
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
What the fuck is going on?
Trump won, and we couldn't do nothing about it. And that's it.
I can't believe it. I can't fucking.
Wow, no.
Have you been crying like a bitch over Elon Musk? Do you find yourself sobbing at the thought of your taxpayer-funded transgender basket weaving club losing its funding? You may be suffering from a common condition known as libtardism-induced meltdown. But don't worry, there's help. Introducing Grow-A-Pair, the revolutionary prescription solution designed to help you accept reality. With just one dose a day, you'll start to understand that tax dollars aren't meant for gender numeral electric vehicle startups in Vietnam. After taking Grow-A-Pair, you may notice life-changing improvements, such as smaller man boobs, the ability to fund your own transgender basket weaving without relying on Uncle Sam, and a newfound indifference to the defunding of the U.S. Department of Slope Sidewalk Studies. Grow-A-Pair won't solve all your problems, but it can help you stop fixating on who's going to pay for DEI pudding packs in Cambodia.
Side effects may include dry mouth, increased common sense, employment, smaller man boobs, and lower taxes.
Ask your doctor if Grow-A-Pair is right for you, because adulting is hard, but it doesn't have to be.
I was muted. Thank you. I did say welcome to everybody who popped in. This keeps glitching. There we go.
As they've helped thousands of Americans before me. Don't be like me.
Who are you?
I am the ghost of mortgage future. Every link in my chain was forged by the dollars I could have saved had I refinanced with American financing.
How are you the ghost of me? I'm not even dead yet.
Time is relative. Over the next 3 nights, you will be visited by 3 spirits.
Yeah, that's not gonna work for me. Yeah, I got a show in Pittsburgh on Friday, 2 shows in Cleveland after that. It's
Fine. Just trying to help. Do whatever you want. I don't care.
all right. American Financing. I'll call them tomorrow.
One of them is a chick.
She cute?
She's like a 6.
Trust the professionals. Whether it's a medical procedure or financing your home, call the pros at American Financing today at 1-800-974-6500 or visit www.americanfinancing.net/Crowder. NMLS 182334. If you start today, you may even delay up to 2 mortgage payments.
That had a nice like turbulence effect, didn't it? What?
There it is.
Sounds like a witch's cauldron. And also, I realized the chair is adjusted because you're a giant.
It wasn't. I never do that.
Glad
I saw him do it.
you saw him do it.
I told him not to do it too. I said, hey, you better not do that because Steven comes back. He's going to be super upset. He's going to notice it. And he said, I don't care.
He said, I don't care. He also put a pea underneath my mattress, which means he got into my house. Let's get to... So today, let me be really straightforward with you. Trevor Noah is a segregationist. We'll get to that. Pops Crowder is going to come on to talk about that because he was part of the integration busing experiment in Detroit in the 1970s. John Oliver is wrong again. Obviously, yesterday was President's Day, so we did a special of 3 and 3 celebrating presidents. You can go and download them. Today, we're back to news as it is happening, and John Oliver is always wrong. I expect this show to be completely removed because every time we critique John Oliver, his talent agency directly claims that it's a copyright violation and gets it removed. I'm willing to bet it's because of the many, many millions of plays critiquing him. So if at some point today you're watching on YouTube, which you shouldn't be, and you see this, watch on Rumble, watch the clips on Rumble. It's a live show weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern, including Friday. Also, Donald Trump finally got Europe to get off of its prissy, affected, arrogant ass and start paying their own way. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Let me ask you this. Which nation do you think owes the most in back pay? Or you can punish them. You can just make them pay more if you want. If you, in this hypothetical, you're president.
France. Always France.
Second question. When did you stop watching late night talk shows? Biggest influences, I would say, in this show would be David Letterman, probably Norm Macdonald. Early on, that was the comedian I watched. That was the late night show that I watched. And now when I watch these guys, I get that it's archaic. It's no longer a thing. It just doesn't really work. It's kind of sad.
Conan for me.
Yeah, Conan was really, probably Conan right after Letterman for me. It's sad to kind of see how they've fallen. You know, never meet your heroes. Not that I've met them. Not that they're heroes. None of that made sense. Captain Morgan, doing well? Yep. I'm doing well. Josh Firestein, you can follow him on the Instagram, Josh_Firestein. He is not on X because he has been banned.
I am on X now.
You are?
Well, not Josh Firestein's verified.
Oh, but it's not you.
Yeah, it's verified that it's not me.
Yes. Okay, good.
But it's me. And
no, it's not. It is absolutely not.
It is not?
Okay, fine.
It's someone else.
Yeah, so whatever crazy things.
There's a striking resemblance.
To the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Speaking of back of the head, I never know if I'm facing this man's face or the back of his head. Trevor Noah. I know many of you...
It'll make more sense in a minute.
And right now you're seeing the left say the quiet part out loud. Back in 2014, 2015, when I was in my den in Michigan, the Mizzou scandal took place. That's where there was a black-only safe space. This was kind of the first time it was brought into the public awareness. I remember saying, hey, okay, so they want to bring back segregation. The progressive left wants to segregate us racially. Well, now, people like Trevor Noah and this panel of experts, they're saying that out loud. Back then, they were saying, no, we're not advocating segregation. And now, people like Trevor Noah and Princeton professor Rua Benjamin, they're saying, well, yeah, no, actually, we're pretty much advocating segregation.
I found myself wondering, and this applies to America, and then maybe it'll go to other places in a different way because Finland ties in. Do you think that integration was the right move? Like, and now I'm separating two things because I know in America people are like, well, of course, I mean, there was racism and there was segregation, and I go, yeah, no, I'm separating them. Let's separate someone being oppressed and someone not being able to get a job and someone not being able to get a bank loan. Let's take all of those, the negative things away. I think part of the reason Finland is able to do it is because, have you been to Finland?
It's very homogeneous.
I've been to Finland. You know who's in Finland? Finnish people. That's it. That's
finishers.
And because they're all Finnish, there's an idea of like, no, we all head in the same direction.
You don't say.
We all know what our actions mean. And that's a really powerful thing I've learned in communicating with other people. When I'm in a room with anyone where we start to tie together multiple things. So if I'm in a room with black people, already there's like an implicit trust because we know what certain actions, words, and vibes mean.
Shared identity.
And then you're in a room with
Got it.
another African. Already. Now, even if you shout at me, I know what your shout means. The same way an Italian knows what an Italian shout means.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
But
race
I
of
would love
people.
to know
me,
if you think integration was the right solution, maybe. On the other side of,
like, what?
you know, what
Yeah.
America, of civil rights.
Yeah. No, I don't. And I don't think it's actually that controversial when
She bought that traditional
if you
garb off
understand that
Etsy.
segregation and integration
rags.
weren't the only options. Like those are within those two options, it may
She
seem like
segregated her books.
integration is the more progressive. Like, of course, we don't want segregation. But again, when you're being integrated into institutions,
here it comes.
into a culture that's a supremacist culture, that's a culture that feeds off of hierarchy, that feeds off of insecurity, anxiety. Why are we being integrated into that?
Well, I don't know. Why don't you ask the folks in Botswana?
So they're all Botswanan.
Yeah. I mean, you could go ahead. I love how right here, what he is saying, this is what they refer to as the great replacement theory. Well, no, the idea that a shared identity, now in the States, it's largely shared values, but let's be honest, it was largely white, Western European founders of this nation, and they don't share any of the same values as most African nations, Asian nations, and with good reason. Okay, so if you have a shared identity, it's easier to know that you're all pulling the same direction. Sounds to me like you just made an argument against diversity, Mr. Duke. I'll tell you what, we don't need Finland. You know what? Let's try the segregation or integration. Let's try it in Rhode Island.
See how it goes. I love how in Finland he danced around the issue. It's like, say it. They're all Finnish. No, come on, say it.
Say it. Come on.
No, the one lady said
Homogenous.
they're homogenous.
They're homogenized. Yes, exactly.
Which
milk?
way?
What does that mean?
It's almost
Yes.
like when the left says, "Oh, look at Sweden. Oh, look at Denmark, and look at their socialized healthcare." And look, we're going, Yes, but what's the primary difference? The population of Rhode Island. That's all homogenized, to use your term, versus a very mixed and diverse. I'm sorry, I meant to say our greatest strength. 330 plus million people here in the United States who aren't all rowing the same direction. Look, I'm not saying that we should have segregation. That's, of course, a leftist belief, as it was back then. Yeah. What I am saying is they're missing the truth by that much.
How's Africa doing?
Well, Trevor Noah was born in apartheid-era South Africa in 1984, and the other person there, Benjamin, wrote 4 books about white supremacy in healthcare.
What? I want to know who that other lady was that was at the table with Trevor Noah, because she was looking at him like, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I agree with this.
He's not about to say he doesn't want his kid raised in a racial jungle or some shit.
I think she was African because he was like, Africans, when you say,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, but don't talk about my mom that way. Which brings us to, I called it.
Come, let Zoltar tell you more. I'm gonna hit the next pitch ball right past the flag. We're gonna win the game, I guarantee.
Told you guys about this. The context, I think this goes back to 2015, where the left had black-only spaces, safe space here, trigger warning here, black-only groups. Everything was white supremacy. I said, look, this comes full circle, and what they're really going to be advocating for in the name of progress is full-on resegregation.
Right now, you have kids on campus. Just this week, Princeton, Black Lives Matter. Students listed their demands. Black-only cultural spaces. In the name of equality, they're demanding segregation. For the first time since the civil rights in the United States, you have people literally demanding segregated spaces. No word yet as to whether they want black and white drinking fountains and if white people should be at the back of the bus. But they do want black-only spaces.
I don't know.
years ago.
There's not much more to say than that. Sting us out.
Come, let Zoltar tell you more. I'm gonna hit the next pitch ball right past the flag. We're gonna win the game, I guarantee.
And we are actually going to have Pops Crowder on the program later. It'll be for those of you who are Rumble premium members, because he was there in Detroit when they just said, you know what, we've had riots. We've had kids whose dads are cops. We've had these kids whose dads were shooting at cops. Let's put them all on the same bus and hope for the best. And some people got shot. Some people got stabbed. My dad got his ass kicked quite a few times. So we'll talk about that. My point here is not segregation, but this goes back to first principles. And I think that a lot of people out there, a lot of talking heads, a lot of the watch and react of the day, we need to get back to understanding what it is that we believe, or at least present it to people. You have to see this through the lens of, okay, we do believe that there are fundamental American values. Now, it's not because of melanin, but when you have people like Trevor Noah who are not from the United States of America, and they are advocating for cultures that are more similar to other nations that are entirely a race of people, they are racist. They are fundamentally entrenched in a worldview that cannot be reconciled with the United States of America. So I support segregating us from those people. Send them back. Now,
black supremacists, that's what I call them.
They are.
Because you got to be clear about it. They're not talking about just segregating everybody. They're just saying black people segregated from what? From white people?
Right.
Like Hispanics don't exist?
Right.
Like Indians don't exist? Like Asians don't exist?
Yes.
What do you do with those people? Do you care, or is it just about the black struggle? That's all it is?
Well, when they see everything through the lens of race, it's a constant hierarchy of oppression. That's why the whole Stop Asian Hate thing fell apart immediately when we found out who was committing the crimes against Asian people in this country. But here's the thing. I also do not get this confused here. I am not on board with the white supremacists, because I don't know if you know this. The white supremacists, they always say, "Hey, we should go back to like Europe, right? Like an ethno state." Well, Europe really sucks. It's terrible. It hasn't worked out. I think the United States is a far better place than Europe, namely free speech, also the Second Amendment. But that brings us to President Trump and what he has been doing. He's finally gotten Europe to get off of its ass and start footing the bill for their own defense. Start footing the bill for their own problems. You know what my problem is with this? I don't like Putin, okay? KGB, you're talking about basically a man who has raped his country of its resources, one of the wealthiest men in the world. It's all ill-gotten gain, okay? What I hate about Zelensky is when he does his little tour, like we just saw on CNN this morning, he's like, we will not accept any of the Russian terms. Really? Okay. What if we weren't paying for your defense? You'd accept all Russian terms immediately. So the rest of the world gets on their high horse. We have socialized healthcare. We have free internet. It's a human right. Really? Before we get to defending the entire free world, though I use that term loosely, looking at you, Europe, how about just being able to protect yourself? How about just starting to spend the portion of NATO that you are contractually obligated to spend as a portion of your GDP? By the way, a great many deal of back payments in there. So when everyone says Donald Trump is alienating us from our allies, well, hold on a second. If you make a deal with your friend, let's say that you're going to go halvesies on a boat or a 4x4, let's call it some recreational vehicle.
What happened? Hey, Jerry. I don't know why this keeps fucking ringing out on here.
Polaris it's very embarrassing when I was in the woods trail and I didn't have the gas. So, I guess we're both making sacrifices. No, only we are making sacrifices.
You were supposed to clean the boat?
Yes.
You didn't
After
winterize
you use it, but okay.
I mean, I get it. It's a pontoon. It's more of a party boat. But still, I don't want to be in my own field. So this morning, top U.S. and Russian diplomats, and this is, I just laid the stage for you, they started talks in Saudi Arabia, of all places, about ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. There's Rubio, most improved player.
Yeah.
And of course, the Europeans are mad that they were left out of the discussions, and they rightfully should have been left out of the discussions because they suck. Now, I don't know what you're saying. That's childish. Sure. You can read all the references, every single show. We provide them. I think it's the only show on earth that does it. But you know what? Europe sucks. It's a crappy... I know. Which European country? Yes.
All of them.
Even...
Yes. Go on the mat. EU. Point. Yes. Europe needs to start being a man. Let's put it that way. So the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and the EU leader Ursula von der Leyen. I hope I'm saying
that's
this right.
That's a cool name.
They both finally signaled that Europe would need to spend more on defense. Hey!
Wow.
It's almost like when you actually have teeth in your threats, people start doing what they are already contractually obligated to do.
When was this, 1946?
Stop. It's not just NATO. They don't pay enough to defend their own countries.
Exactly.
It's not that they're just not spending enough to like comply with this NATO thing. It's like if somebody wanted to take you over, they could.
Well, and you know what? Very, very clear, as always, was Poland, because Poland doesn't take any crap.
No, they don't.
We're like, oh, Islamic migrants? Bye. They don't care. So the prime minister, actually, his name is Donald Tusk, so he's in good company, first name. He wrote on X.
Not a conservative, by the way.
No, but he wrote, if we Europeans fail to spend big on defense now, we will be forced to spend 10 times more if we don't prevent. I don't know if this is Polish. I can't do a Polish accent.
Close enough.
I don't know.
If we don't prevent a wider war. As the Polish PM, I'm entitled to say it loud and clear, since Poland already spends almost 5% of its GDP on defense. Here's the thing. Poland is basically the only nation that has done it consistently outside of the United States. This guy's not a conservative, but he's pointing out what we all know. He's saying, well, yeah, Donald Trump is saying that the rest of you should spend, and you guys use us. You guys use us as this beacon of hope, where you say, what if Putin marches on through Poland, but we're spending all the money in the defense, and where are you guys, NATO? You're not doing anything. We're an actual NATO nation.
Yeah. What was Ukraine spending? Poland's like, yes, what if he marches straight through Poland? Yes, we should probably be ready for this.
Yes, I am like the ant who prepared for winter, and you are pussies.
Yeah, Ukraine
Different
refuses
stories.
to
The
negotiate.
grasshoppers come. It's the one guy from Spin City with the funny voice, Cousin Andy. You all understand the whole Aesop fable. President Trump has been demanding this, and he has been condemned for it, and we have been demanding this. Gosh, I've been doing this since 2009, but certainly since his first term.
But 23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they are supposed to be paying for their defense. This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the United States. And many of these nations owe massive amounts of money from past years and not paying in those past years. Over the last 8 years, the United States spent more on defense than all other NATO countries combined.
That's a
If all NATO members had spent just 2%
Feels like she's in a
of their
bad shampoo
GDP
commercial.
on defense last year,
CIA is not at
we would have had another $119 billion for
Mine was
our
not at the
collective
table.
defense and for the financing of additional NATO reserves.
And remember, everyone was saying, how could they do this to our allies? We're being embarrassed on the world stage. Well, now they're saying, okay, maybe we should start spending more. And according to one NATO diplomat, even conscription is back in this. For those of you who don't know, that means mandatory military service. This was written, actually, I think we have the reference, you can bring it up. It said, for the first time since I've worked here, allies are talking about how this could work. Should have been working on it all along. How we lower barriers to jobs and best practices for recruitment, including conscription. Here's something you need to know. While the rest of the world has been standing there with their hand out, demanding that America foot the bill while telling us what we should do as we foot the bill, Russia, Ukraine, it's our moral obligation. European militaries have actually lost numbers since Russia invaded Ukraine. The British Army is at its smallest since the Napoleonic Wars.
Good golly.
That goes back to 1815. They were dealing with a really short guy.
Big temper.
Yes.
Yes, recently I saw, I think we covered on the show where there's a poll that said only 11% of
I got a couple little
British-
senators,
Britons,
but she ain't gonna like them.
British people
yeah,
would defend Great Britain.
They're not
if it
willing
came
to.
it.
They're not
We'll
willing
have
to.
to redo their
They're
their
absolutely
test.
spineless. And by the way, contrast that with the U.S. Army has had its best recruiting month in 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's our job to provide security for the world. And we'll get to charity in a second, because the United States military is a global charity and it has been taken advantage of. While their numbers are shrinking, do you have any idea how bold these pricks must be to tell us that we're dropping the ball while they know that their military capacity is at its lowest since the early 1800s?
Wouldn't it be the time, if this really is the be-all, end-all war for Europe, and he's going to march through and go on to Poland and go everywhere else, wouldn't this be the time to get more people into your military services and go, hey, there's a threat at our door again. We've got to do this. Isn't that what we've been told, though?
Yeah.
But Putin's not going to stop with Ukraine. Of course not. He's going to keep marching into Europe. That's what we've been told.
It's really hard to get the kind of young men to enlist into service to protect pridefully their nation when you've told them that they're villains and they have nothing to be proud of. What are they fighting for? Hey, if I'm a Brit right now or German and I see the gang rapes going on, I see the streets, I see Tommy Robinson being held indefinitely without bail, right, in solitary confinement. What am I proud of? I've been told that we should apologize, that we should be put in the stocks on the international stage. Why would I join the military to fight for that? Why would I want to join to fight for the bad guys?
Sounds like a good time to leave your wife and daughters at home.
That's what it sounds like.
Go to war.
Yeah. So British, the Prime Minister there, Keir Starmer, who really fancies himself Churchill, he's not, declared that Britain had to step up to lead in this really just off-putting, feminized, cringy video.
In this moment, we have to recognize the new era that we are in, not cling hopelessly to the comforts of the past. It's time for us to take responsibility for our security, for our continent. And I've been clear today, Britain will take a leading responsibility.
Well, now.
Always have.
You always have?
Because Ukraine must have a secure future. Europe must have a secure future. Britain must have a secure future. And democratic values must prevail.
He really thinks he's Churchill. He's more Neville Chamberpot.
He recorded that audio in a chamber pot.
Yeah. That's the thing you poop in, right?
It's a toilet.
In your room.
Saying he's a toilet.
It's convenient.
He also said that Britain would send troops to Ukraine as part of a peacekeeping force.
So what you're saying is he's going to send troops there to maybe fight and get a peace? No. He's not going to actually send troops to fight. Okay, so maybe he's going to send troops like on the Donbass region, put them on the border so that he can make sure Ukraine stays on their end and Russia stays there. No. He's going to send them hundreds of miles to the west of where they would actually be needed. They probably cut off maybe an hour of flight time from the frickin' trip from London to get to Ukraine if something happened. Yes. That is a pansy move saying, we're ready to send troops.
Yes, well, what you fail to understand, as you see, is we're a nation entirely made of pussies. And so we're just taking baby steps. We're putting them in a general area without actually fighting.
You know what no successful country in the history of the world has ever said after X number of 100 years in existence? It is finally our time to take personal responsibility for our security. You usually just cease to exist before you get to that point where, hey, maybe we should secure ourselves.
And by secure yourselves, you mean finally start dealing with the Islamic migrants, the jihads that are taking place in record numbers, the mass stabbings? Oh, no, wait. You mean send peacekeeping forces to an area where there largely isn't conflict because Ukraine matters more than your own people. The Ukrainians are allowed to preserve and protect their people and their identity, but not the people of Britain. And by the way, the same people who believed that you should be British, that Britain was for Brits, the Brexit people, you browbeat, you guilted, you lambasted, you said we're racist, and you wonder why your country doesn't work. Hey, how's that free internet working out? How's that socialized healthcare? You're welcome from the American military. By the way, the National Security Advisor last week, Mike Waltz, said that Europe should take this leading role in Ukraine security guarantees. This is a direct result of an administration coming in saying, hey, guess what? We're not going to be footing the bill anymore. You guys have to step up. Turns out, you just need to start with that posture. This should tell you something. No one else has. Why have these nations not paid their portion of NATO that they are contractually obligated to pay? Why have these nations by default assumed it's the United States' job to protect the rest of the free world while they know that they are dragging their feet? Because this is the first time in our lifetime, and that includes Barack Obama, Joe Biden, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, where we have a leader saying, hey, this isn't fair. You guys aren't being good allies. You guys aren't being good friends. You're not you're not upholding your end of the bargain. It just required someone to stand up and say what many Americans know and believe. That's why President Trump has the mandate of the masses, not just because of an electoral college landslide, arguably. By the way, we intercepted, this is exclusive, a leaked conference call between these European nations tipping their hand a bit as to their plans.
All right, is everyone on the line? Oui, France is here. Sprechen Sie Deutschland! All right, gents, what are we going to do about these dodgy Russians? Donc we should start by increases the defense spending. I propose we provide some of our own troops to fight alongside the noble Ukrainians. Oui. Right. Problem is we don't quite have enough young men to fight.
Maybe we make incentive for them with the monies or les cigarettes.
Ah, yes, that might work. Plus the reward of honor and a sense of European patriotism. Ah, what if we just make them do it? Well, I suppose conscription is an option. Yeah, and they will be united and mighty. Yes, well, I suppose. And they will be loyal? Well, naturally. And they will be ruthless.
Ah, oui. And what about les costumes?
They will have scary black uniforms. All black. With red patch on the side that says EU. Well, that sounds uncomfortably familiar. And they will be super soldiers. The SS for short. Wahoo! And a new Europe will be reborn.
Who the hell was that?
It's me, Italia. I brought him with me.
Well, I still always have my issues with Germany. Yeah. As someone who studied history.
I think they'll get Hugo Boss to make those scary.
Yes, they will. They will.
Nice. Have some nice Mercedes takes.
The point here is everything that the media and Europe have been bitching about regarding Donald Trump
rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on the tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on her tight